They were the bright-eyed stars of our favorite films and television shows. Small in stature, but giants in talent. Millions watched them grow up on screen. But off camera, life wasn't always as glamorous or kind. Some of these young actors carried burdens far too heavy for their age. Others faced sudden, unimaginable tragedies, and their stories ended far too soon. Today we look back at the heartbreaking fates of child stars who left this world before their time. And stay with us, because at the end of this video, we'll uncover one name you may have forgotten, a story so haunting, it's rarely told. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you won't miss our new videos. Heather O'Rourke captured the hearts of millions with a single line: "They're here." At just 5 years old, she was discovered by Steven Spielberg and cast in the now iconic horror film Poltergeist. Blonde, blue-eyed, and full of charm, she became an overnight sensation. But behind that smile, something was very wrong. In early 1988, Heather began experiencing flu-like symptoms that worsened quickly. On February 1st, she died of cardiac arrest caused by septic shock from an undiagnosed intestinal stenosis. She was only 12. The suddenness of her death shocked the world, and rumors of a so-called poltergeist curse began to swirl. But what remains undeniable is how bright her light shone, even for such a short time. Then there was River Phoenix, cool, charismatic, and wise beyond his years. He broke through with Stand By Me at just 15. Critics called him the next James Dean, but fame came fast, and with it, pressure and drugs. On Halloween night in 1993, River collapsed outside the Viper Room, a Hollywood nightclub. His brother Joaquin made the heartbreaking 911 call. River was only 23. The official cause, an overdose of heroin and cocaine. His death was a grim wake-up call to the darker side of youth fame. Another name that evokes both warmth and sorrow is Judith Barsi. You may not know her face, but you've heard her voice. She brought to life Ducky in The Land Before Time and Anne-Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven. Off-screen, however, Judith lived in terror. Her father, Joseph Barsi, was abusive and controlling. Despite repeated warnings and attempts to escape, tragedy struck. In July 1988, he murdered Judith and her mother, then set the house on fire before taking his own life. Judith was only 10 years old. Her voice, forever preserved in animation, is all that remains of her short but impactful life. What is it about child stardom that can lead to such tragedy? Is it the pressure, the exposure, the loss of a normal childhood, or something else? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts. Now let's talk about Brittany Murphy. While not a child when she became famous, her career began in her teens, and her death remains one of Hollywood's great mysteries. Brittany rose to fame in Clueless and Girl, Interrupted, known for her quirky charm and emotional depth. But by 2009, things had changed. She looked frail, and rumors swirled about drug use and a toxic home life. Then at just 32, Brittany collapsed in her home and died of pneumonia, anemia, and multiple drug intoxication. 5 months later, her husband also died, under similarly mysterious conditions. Was it illness? Environmental toxins? The case remains unresolved and the speculation has never stopped. Then there's Lee Thompson Young. He was the famous Jet Jackson, a positive role model for an entire generation. Behind the scenes, though, Lee was quietly battling bipolar disorder. He continued acting into adulthood, but the weight of his illness became too much. In 2013, at the age of 29, he died by suicide. It was a reminder that even those who appear confident and successful may be silently suffering. Mental health is not always visible, but it is always real. Let's pause here for a moment. Which of these stories hit you the hardest so far? And why do you think Hollywood continues to struggle with protecting its youngest stars? Share your thoughts below. We read every comment. Sawyer Sweeten was best known as one of the twin brothers on Everybody Loves Raymond. Alongside his real-life twin Sullivan, he grew up in front of millions of viewers. But after the show ended, Sawyer's life became quieter. and more isolated. In 2015, just before his 20th birthday, he died by suicide while visiting family in Texas. His family was devastated. They said he never showed any outward signs of depression, and his death was a complete shock. It's a heartbreaking reminder that young people can be in deep pain, even if they don't or can't show it. Then there's Carl Switzer. If the name doesn't ring a bell, maybe Alfalfa will. Carl played the iconic troublemaker in The Little Rascals during the 1930s. After his brief fame, his life spiraled into financial hardship and odd jobs. In 1959, at the age of 31, Carl was shot and killed during an argument over a $50 debt. His death was ruled justifiable homicide, but many still question the circumstances. How could someone who once brought so much joy meet such a tragic, forgotten end? And finally, a name often left out of these lists, yet one whose story is every bit as tragic. Anissa Jones. Best known for her role as Buffy on Family Affair, she was one of the most recognizable faces on TV in the late 60s. But after the show ended, roles dried up. By her teens, she was lost in the Hollywood shuffle. At just 18, Anissa died of a drug overdose. Her death was ruled accidental, but the deeper tragedy was her sense of abandonment by the industry that once adored her. These young stars gave the world laughter, tears, and unforgettable performances, and yet many were failed by the very system that celebrated them. Their stories are cautionary tales, but also powerful reminders of the fragility of fame and of life itself. As we remember their names, perhaps we also carry forward a deeper message. Every child, no matter how bright their star, deserves protection, love, and a chance at a full life. Subscribe to the Bold Fact Files channel, turn on the notifications, and you won't miss our new videos.